Welcome to the all-new Sports Visions on Bounce TV and to our worldwide web viewers on www.sportsvisionsusa.com. Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones alongside my traveling partner and good friend, Dale Williams. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Man, you know I'm comfortable. We're well into what we all love, football season, in full effect all the way at every level. And, again, the only thing that hadn't started is Little League, youth football.
Oh, yeah, and they're getting ready this weekend. Trust me, all the football fields are filled today, soccer field. Football season's in the mix, DJ. And then speaking of the youth, I want everybody to check out the ColumbusYouthSports.com for the photos of some of your superstars.
All right. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll have an opportunity to preview and review Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, and Tech. And, of course, we'll have an opportunity to do an on the wall with one of the most phenomenal football players in college football today.
That's right, Lamar Jackson. If you don't know about him, you definitely got to hear about this guy because he is definitely leading in the Heisman race, DJ.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Todd Bennett. I'm with Our House at Carpenter's Way, a ministry of the Methodist Home for Children and Youth. Our mission is to restore childhoods at the two homes here in Columbus, as well as our facilities in Macon, Americus, Valdosta, and St. Mary's. We provide at-risk youth with security, education, and the hope necessary to break the cycle of abuse and neglect. Please join us October 11th for the Giving Childhood a Chance luncheon with guest speaker Jeff Foxworthy. The luncheon will be held at the Columbus Trade Center. Please go to themethodisthome.org/events to sign up today.
Welcome back to Sports Visions. Well, college football season, again, another week has passed, and I tell you, you know what? We opened up the first week or so, and we had some extraordinary play out of some teams that were subpar, I guess. Not subpar, maybe not as strong as we would have thought them to be, but they gave some of the bigger schools a run for the money. And certainly this past weekend, it wasn't a letdown either.
It wasn't a letdown, DJ. You know, everybody's playing in conference, and those conference games and divisional games, they are very important. And we saw a level of play turn up. You know, all the cupcake games, they're not going away. But these are some of the games these guys have been working on since this summer.
Let's get right to it. The University of Georgia went out to Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, that is, and, of course, just got extraordinary play by a young quarterback that we've been talking about for quite some time. It seems as though, to me, there's no doubt he's the guy, Jacob Eason.
Jacob Eason, DJ, I'm going to give him the keys. I'm going to give him the keys, DJ. I think really he played a great game, 24-55, almost 400 yards. I mean, really, this guy's the real deal. And he even missed a few passes, you know, touchdown passes. I think the receivers kind of surprised him not being able to get the ball to him, but underthrowing did good, but I really saw and liked how he competed in the game.
Well, to go on the road in the SEC for your first victory, you know, obviously that's extraordinary for a young man that's so young, right out of high school. But he came in with all the high billing deal. And, again, this is what I expected. Again, this is what we saw when we went on campus and, of course, observed them during camp. But, again, when you talk about them being able to get out of there with a victory, you know what, it's not going to get any easier because they got to go back on the road to Ole Miss this week.
Well, you know, if you thought he played a good game last week, DJ, he sure enough got to play this Saturday. You know, I think really he'll be up to the task. I was really impressed with Isaiah McKenzie, his work ethic, his playmaking ability. You know, we've always marveled about the playmaking ability of him, but really at the same time, even for the fullback is concerned, the tight end play, they made some big plays when they needed to, and I really appreciate the way the secondary turned everything around and start playing a very good game.
Speaking of secondaries, they're going to have to definitely be on their A game down in Oxford because, again, Chad Kelly, one of the best quarterbacks, not just in the SEC, in America. Again, I know that he had a few little skirmishes against Alabama, but all in all, he's one of those guys that can make every throw. He's an experienced guy. He's a very, very, obviously, when you talk about Chad Kelly, Machine Gun Jim Kelly, his nephew,
right.
He has a lot of those characters and those traits. And, you know, I think that Ole Miss is going to try to put themselves back in the national spotlight coming off of that big loss to Alabama.
But really, I think Ole Miss is in the national spotlight, but not for good reasons. Losing the second half lead against Florida State, losing the second half lead against Alabama, that doesn't really, you know, go too far for the SEC. But at the same time, Chad Kelly, good quarterback, DJ, I think running and passing. They got the biggest receivers probably in the country, so the secondary is going to be tested. If the secondary plays well and plays a good game, I think Georgia can pull this thing out. But I tell you, DJ, we got to get a pass rush.
Got to get a pass rush. And, of course, certainly you're going to need one for Chad Kelly. All right, let's take it over to, of course, the Plains where the Auburn Tigers, again, we're looking for them to get themselves back on track. But it seems like Gus Malzahn and his offense just keeps falling back and having, I guess, the Auburn Nation a little disappointed. But Texas A&M came in; they're one of the top teams in the country, in the top 5 right now. But Kevin Sumlin and his Texas A&M, he's under fire as well.
That's right. He's under fire. He's got no time to waste around. Gus going to find out the urgency, and I think Gus already knows what the urgency is. I think Gus got to slow the bus down, DJ. I think that on the field, the high, fast-paced offense, no-huddle offense, I think Auburn got to settle down, DJ, and just do what they do. Run the football, punch you in the mouth, knock you off the ball, slow down. Because, Gus goes on another level anyway. He wants to go fast, but I just think they need to settle down. They established what quarterback they want to use. They want to use Sean. He wants to be the quarterback. But then you put Robert Franklin III in there. He moves the ball. So you got to make up your mind what you're going to do, player, and settle down. And I hate no-huddle offense. When I see all those linemen looking to the sideline, DJ, oh, man, that just does something to me. I don't like that.
Well, one thing is for sure, that's a stout defense. Kevin Steele, the new defensive coordinator, as well as Auburn has been playing, he still seems to think that they can play better. He says that they're not being disciplined, missing tackles, and not getting the turnovers that they're due. But I tell you what, got this LSU coming into town, and Auburn really, actually for both LSU and Auburn, this is a crucial game.
This is a very crucial game for both teams because really the coach that loses this game, DJ, they're probably going to be on the hot seat. LSU loses. LSU really did a child abuse case against Auburn last year. Leonard Fournette, he's still running. And I'm looking for something totally different from Auburn this time with their new defensive coordinator. They have been playing good defense, DJ. They've been playing good enough defense to really be 3-0. So I think their defense is going to be able to stop LSU, but at the same time, they got to settle down on offense and score some points.
Leonard Fournette is getting probably as healthy as he has been because, again, high ankle sprain several weeks ago and has been limited in action. But I think he's back where he needs to be. It's going to be a big day.
It's going to be big, DJ. And anytime Auburn and LSU play, anything can happen. Upsets and things have happened. And Auburn plays very well because they got a record that I heard about. They have lost 7 straight home games, SEC home games, over at Jordan-Hare Stadium. That's big.
Well, let's take it up to Tuscaloosa where Nick Saban and his Alabama Crimson Tide again finally were able to stop Ole Miss. Now, I thought Ole Miss had their number. I was working on it was going to be 3 years in a row of beating Alabama. However, Nick Saban and his fellas found a way to win, man. And you know what? Sometimes you just want to win. You're glad to get out of there with a win.
Well, I know Nick is, but, if I'm an Alabama fan, I'm walking around with my chest out. Not though they don't walk around with their chest stuck out. But I think really for the way they played, I think one of the biggest things that Alabama does, they play better under adversity. And when they got adversity and things are not going their way, they seem to hit a button and they turn up. And I like when Nick Saban always talk about his guys, the way they competed. That competitive spirit, that I really like about it. The Jalen Hurts piece, I think Nick did a good job by leaving his kid in the game. He made him grow up. And I think the hits that they put on him, the fumble recovery piece when he got drilled, I think that woke him up, and he played a hell of a game.
Well, I think the turning point of the game was certainly the 2 touchdowns that Alabama came back and scored right before halftime. Again, they were down 24-3, and again, being able to come out and score 14 unanswered points. Again, Eddie Jackson had a big punt return, but you know what? I knew when they made those 2 scores, I knew it was going to be a different ball game in the second half.
Oh yeah, because they made the game very simple. When they get the momentum back, DJ, they're getting ready to grind, bump and grind, and they're going to shut you down on defense, and that's what they did. And that's where, and they kind of, I really think about our teams back in the 80s when we knew how to close out a game. We would turn it up in the fourth quarter, and then nobody else could do anything. And I think Alabama's really, they well deserve to be number 1 right now.
Well, Nick Saban had to give his guys an extra day off on Monday, of course, earlier in the week, because, again, what I was understanding is not only the players, but some of the coaches had to get IVs after that game. It was just that high intensity and that humidity down there. But you know what? Got Kent State coming in. Maybe you can take a deep breath and get back on track.
Well, he's going to work. He's going to take a little inhale a little bit and breathe. An easy game, not a cupcake game, because Nick would never call it a cupcake game. But I think he's going to work on some depth. He's going to get some kids in the game that didn't get to play against Ole Miss, because, again, you got to always build on developing your players and getting depth, because really the fourth, that November run, it'll be here before you know it, player.
All right, let's take it up to Atlanta, where we're going to have one heck of a game. But last weekend, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets were able to do something I didn't think that they were going to do. I didn't think they were going to be able to blow out Vanderbilt. However, again, Paul Johnson and his offensive team had a different plan.
They had a different plan, DJ, but one thing that I do know about Georgia Tech, they're going to move the ball. They're going to run the ball. You can't stop the option. They only can stop themselves. Fumbling the ball, turnovers, and then you have to get them behind the 8 ball, and then they have a problem scoring in a hurry. But when they can run against anybody in the nation, player.
Good to see Justin Thomas back in his form. I know that everybody thought he probably would contend for ACC Offensive Player of the Year, but with the kind of game he had last week, and if he could continue, especially with Clemson coming in town, if he can show his wares against Clemson, this big powerhouse of the ACC, you know what? Justin Thomas will be right back in front of, the forefront of the top players in the ACC.
I mean, really, DJ, he is a top player, and and Paul Johnson knows that. But I think I saw a stat during this summer about the turnovers. If they can if they can stop the turnovers, DJ, they'll be a hard team to win, to beat rather. But Georgia Tech, they're playing competitively.
I want to let you know, though, that the Georgia Tech game was played a little earlier in the week on Thursday before we actually got a chance to tape this show. And we wanted to let you know, again, want to give you the review or the preview as well. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week.
All right, DJ, this week, the Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week, we got Alabama playing against Kent State, Auburn against LSU over at Jordan Hare, Georgia against Ole Miss down in Oxford, Mississippi. Georgia Tech played Clemson on Thursday. Florida against Tennessee, live from Knoxville. Stanford against UCLA. Washington is at Arizona. And USC against Utah. Don't forget to stop by Chick-fil-A on Bradley Park and pick up your Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week.
Now let's take a look at our Black College scores and the lineup for this week.
Okay. Ah! Oh. Hey, I'm trying to get crunk.
C-R-U-R. Tell them how we gonna go. Tell them why they don't want to.
Truth be truth. The will to win will win. So intimidate your darkest fear. Revive every forgotten fantasy. Set goals you can never reach, then reach them. Count cards to fight fate stack deck. And if you want to win as much as you want to live, you're ready to reign on.
Sports Vision presents the Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week. Every week during the 2016 college football season, Chick-fil-A will sponsor the Picks of the Week segment on Sports Vision. Sports Vision will pick several college football games from around the country for the customers to pick the winning teams. The customer that picks the most winning teams will win a Chick-fil-A platter and a gallon of tea, compliments of Chick-fil-A Bradley Park. So customers, fill out your form and make sure you fill out your contact information and wait to hear if you are the Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week winner. All forms must be turned in by Friday, the day before the game, by closing time. The winner's name will be announced on Sports Vision the following week. So stop by Chick-fil-A on Bradley Park to pick up your form for the Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week.
Welcome back to Sports Visions. It's now time for our Atlanta Falcons report, and I'm proud to say that we definitely have something positive to report on because the Atlanta Falcons went out on the West Coast and knocked off the Oakland Raiders.
Knocked them off, DJ. Matt Ryan had a good game, DJ. 3 TDs, almost over 400 yards. Played good, DJ. Played good. And the Falcons were able to score 3 out of the 5 times they were in the red zone touchdowns. So that was the difference of the game because, again, they're still struggling with that piece, DJ. But they played good and still got to get a pass rush player.
Absolutely. But it was great to see Julio Jones back in the mix. Of course, 5 catches, over 100 yards, and a touchdown. But, again, the dynamic duo of Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, those guys both had almost 140 yards together. And that's good stuff when you're talking about, having 2 backs that can rotate, and one's, I won't say thunder and lightning, but you got lightning and double lightning.
Well, it's almost like you got to have a template, DJ. You got to have 300-yard passing, and you got to have 100-yard rushing. And I think whichever way you got to do it, the Falcons, that's a good formula for the Falcons. But really, I love when they throw the ball deep to Julio Jones because I don't care if it's double covered or not. I'm going to put my money on Julio Jones coming up with the ball. So getting the vertical game in the gear, Sanu played good. all their tight ends played good. So they helped out Matt Ryan a little bit, DJ, and they're keeping him clean a little bit right now.
I hope Matt can stay consistent, and the only way he can stay consistent, like you said, keeping him clean, keeping those defensive linemen off of him. And I like the hustle, and I like the passion and spirit of the defense. Of course, they were running to the ball, and I know that they're going to get even better because they are very young.
They're very young, DJ, but like I said, for as everybody want to play vanilla and not blitz as much, when you can't get to the quarterback, DJ, you got to jazz it up. I guess I have too much Irk Russell in me, but you're going to blitz. We got to blitz somebody. Somebody got to get to the quarterback.
In week 1, the Oakland Raiders, they won. Again, I know that Tampa Bay beat the Falcons a week ago. However, when you think about the matchup now, of course, they're going to go down and play against the Oakland Raiders.
That's right.
And again, early on, I guess everybody's trying to find themselves. The Falcons find themselves 1-1, but they're going to be playing on Monday night in front of the whole nation on Monday Night Football. If that doesn't get them excited to play, nothing will.
Then nothing will, DJ. And we're going to find out quickly here how good the Atlanta Falcons are. They got to come back Monday night and play against the Saints. And then when they go back home, DJ, they play the Carolina Panthers. And really, that they got to play good in that division, that South Division. Every win counts because really when it gets down to the playoff piece, you either want to be the champion or you definitely got to be in wild card position.
I tell you what, though, I am looking forward to the Falcons making a good showing down in New Orleans because when we go back and end up in the Dome when they're going to be playing the Carolina Panthers, I know that atmosphere is going to be electric.
It's going to be electric. Cam's come back to town, and, speaking of Cam, they played good again. But like I said, you got to keep everything tight in that South Division, DJ, because, again, anybody really can win that division.
In other football action or notes of sort, we found we lost another quarterback this week, Jimmy Garoppolo. How do you say it?
His name Jimmy G, man.
Jimmy G. I ain't going to hold it. We'll keep it that way. Went out with a sprained shoulder, and it looks like that Jacoby Brissett, the rookie out of North Carolina State, again, a lot of people slipped on him, including me, but apparently all the raving and the reviews come with, now that he's coming to the forefront, he's going to be like the fourth rookie that's going to start this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what? But Belichick took a chance on him, so he obviously has to play.
But DJ, I chuckled to say, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is when the New England Patriots play. They got somebody for their system. They're not looking for a quarterback to be outstanding and win the game. Just manage the game and let the defense do their thing. And really, a lot of people just self-destruct against New England. But Belichick don't seem to be worried, and they got one more game before Tom Brady comes back. So they're just going to try to hold it in the road, DJ, and continue to do what they do.
Before we get out of here, got a couple of running backs I want to make mention of, and one on a positive note. Congratulations to our hometown hero, former Carver High School All-American Isaiah Crowell, had 133 yards and, of course, an 85-yard touchdown run. And, of course, we've been looking for that, man, for quite some time.
I was just thinking the same thing. You've been cheering for that 80-yard run for a long time. And when I saw the 85-yard touchdown, I said, I'm glad DJ saw that run.
And on a sadder note, lost one of the top running backs in the National Football League. Adrian Peterson went down with a torn meniscus now. Again, they lost the quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, and now they've lost Adrian Peterson. Boy, what kind of season is this going to be for Minnesota?
But you know what, DJ? The Vikings are still playing good. They opened up a new stadium. They beat the Packers. They play, they're undefeated at this point. So really, they're playing good defense. They're playing hard defense. They got new receivers. They got weapons all over the place. And the Sam Bradford piece, he's with a team now that really can protect him. They can run the ball good, and all the weight is not on his shoulders. So you got to watch the Minnesota Vikings, man.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our Crown Royal Picks of the Week.
All right, our Crown Royal Picks of the Week. We got the Falcons going to be traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints. Got the Minnesota Vikings going to Carolina, DJ, to play Cam and the Panthers. Bears are going to be at AT&T Stadium to play the Cowboys. The Rams will travel to Robert James Stadium to play the Buccaneers. The Redskins going to the Meadowland to play the Giants. The Cardinals will play the Buffalo Bills. The 49ers are going to Seattle to play the Seahawks. And the Browns are going to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami to play the Dolphins. Don't forget to email me all your picks at DaleWilliams@SportsVisionUSA.com before 12 on Sunday.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue. serving the best food at the best price. 3 locations to serve you.
Live in the spotlight with Sports Life Entertainment. Enjoy our 50-passenger luxury party buses or corporate coaches. For more information, contact us at 770-989-1340. And remember, it's all about that sports life.
Welcome back to Sports Visions. It's now time for one of our favorite segments because you make it special, On the Wall. And again, On the Wall is a segment that when you email us, Facebook us about what's going on in the world of sports and you want our opinions, that's what we enjoy when we hear it from you. Today's subject, one of the most exciting and most electrifying football players in all of America. I call him, or at least I say this, he's Michael Vick with the Jameis Winston arm. And we're talking about none other than Louisville sophomore quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Oh, man, he's a bad man, DJ. You know, we agree on that. You know, we don't agree on everything, but this kid right here is special. And, you know, Lamar Jackson, what can you say? What, he's accounted for, 13 TDs already?
18 TDs.
Oh, excuse me, 18 TDs. That's a lot of TDs. And, I mean, really, he can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm. And when I see Michael Vick tweet that this guy is 5 times faster than him and even better than him, DJ, that's saying a whole lot, player.
It is saying a lot. And, folks, I'm telling you, if you hadn't had a chance to see Louisville play, we saw him play. Actually, we were fortunate enough to see him play last year in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic at the Dome against Auburn.
Yes.
And we saw him come off as a true freshman, come off the bench, and he just went in the game. He ended up running for 100 yards, and he didn't even know all the plays.
He didn't even know all the plays, DJ, and, you know, he has that kind of skill set. But at the same time, you can't, when you got a Heisman Trophy candidate, a guy that's a front runner, it is very important to have a good team. And Louisville, I got Louisville legitimately in the top 4, DJ. If we had to start the playoffs today, I got them in the top 4 along with Houston. So some of the big boys would be mad with me because I think Louisville is just that good. And with this guy Lamar Jackson playing at the level that he's playing, they're going to score some points. And they got a lights-out defense. Todd Grantham got his guys playing crazy. But Louisville and Bobby Petrino, they better watch them, DJ.
And just to let you know a little bit more about what Louisville has going on, and that they have a little something in common with us. We got a couple of former Georgia Bulldog defensive backs. Josh Harvey Clemens is the starting safety with them. Shaq Wiggins is a starting cornerback. We have a young man that is from Central in Phoenix City. Again, he's number 1, and we put him. He's in the slot. He comes out of the backfield.
Terrell Samuels.
Samuels. Exactly. And then we have the 2 kids from Carver, the Pass Brothers, the defensive back, and the quarterback, Jawan, who is actually a freshman who just signed this past year. But, again, when you talk about Louisville, man, yeah, you better wake up and smell the coffee.
Well, DJ, I think Louisville like this side, this side of Georgia. I mean, really, when they come down here, they're coming down to sign players. And like you just said, they got kids from Phoenix City, Columbus, all in this area. So really, Todd Grantham is doing his homework. They play great defense. They got kids coming in. They're stacking people. When you start talking about Jawan passing, he can't get on the field yet. They stocking some people.
As well. And, of course, Jawan's brother, Kane Pass, did get into the rotation. I did get a chance to see him play this past week. But let's get back to Lamar Jackson before we close this thing out, is that the thing about Lamar Jackson, we know that the game is changing.
That's right.
Everybody's going to the dual threat quarterback. This guy is at the top of the charts in college football today. And when you talk about him coming out of high school, Dale, no, he wasn't known as a passer. So I'm understanding that not only Auburn, but several other major colleges passed on him because they questioned whether he could be an accurate passer. But Bobby Petrino, according to the reports, during the spring, those 15 practices that they had this past spring, they didn't allow him to leave the pocket. They wouldn't let him run, so he had to, of course, work to maintain. And again, you're seeing what the evidence down because he's a different ball player than he was last year.
He's a different ball player, DJ. And, people want you to stay in the pockets, but he knows where his true roots are. When he has to escape that pocket, DJ, he knows how to get out. But at the same time, way back in the old days, they used to call it the single wing. Mm-hmm. We call him the dual threat quarterback now. From the standpoint of him running over 100 yards, passing for over 200 yards, this guy got that system packed. So right now, I got him heads above way ahead anybody for the Heisman.
And if you hadn't seen him yet, just Google Lamar Jackson, sophomore quarterback from Louisville.
Why do we have Aflac?
Aflac.
And Major Medical?
Major Medical boy, yeah! I help pay the doctor
Here are things Major Medical doesn't do. Aflac pays cash so we don't have to fret.
Something families should get.
Like a safety net.
Even helps pay deductibles to cover your back with.
Learn about one-day pay at aflac.com/wrap.
And welcome back to today's final segment of Sports Vision. Dale, I tell you, man, just a great week of college football, pro football, high school football. But, you know, one thing about what we do with this show and, of course, the lives that we touch and the people that admire us and that are inspired by us, you know, we know that. But, you know, it's even better when you get a call. And, of course, we got a call from one of our former students in the Chattahoochee Valley that actually still follows us in college.
That's right, in college. Kawan Cook out of Valdosta State calls. He's a communication major, DJ. We did a Skype interview. He's working, his professor has them working on newsletters and deadlines this week. And he had a deadline to fulfill. I was glad to talk to the young man. He wants to get in this industry. And, you know, really it's good to be able to think that somebody's watching us, DJ, and want to do the same thing that we do. So we feel proud about that also.
We appreciate that. Okay, let's close it out. Again, a lot of great games this week, and I know that as we get down to it, we're really concentrating on the Falcons and hoping that they can have the type of season we need them to have because, again, at the end of the day, they have to get the Falcon Nation excited about buying tickets in that new Mercedes-Benz stadium.
Oh, yeah, they definitely need a reason to buy those tickets because really it's a premium price. It's a premium stadium. I mean, really, as we go up, we see the stadium continues to go up. But at the same time, they want to pay and cheer for a winner. You know, Falcons have been there close a few times, but championship or bust is going to be next year when that Mercedes-Benz Stadium is built.
All right. Last but not least, it's tailgate times, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Sports Visions, we do all-inclusive tailgates. And, of course, we got a couple of classics coming up. We got the Georgia Tech, the Georgia-Auburn game, all these games coming up. All-inclusive means that you come to our tailgate, or if we host a tailgate for you, table, tents, chairs, adult beverages, food, everything.
Just show up.
That's what we do.
Let's show up, and it's our job to make you not want to go into the game, but to stay at the tailgate to watch all the other games. But before we close, I want to give a shout-out to the Columbus Youth Sports Photography Team. Parents, these guys go on their website. They take pictures of all your kids playing. You might not even know little man made a play, and he has a picture of them. So check out that website and check out them on the Facebook page.
All right. That's going to do it for all the time we have for today's show. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Have a great week.
Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you.